CBS Face the Nation decided to give a breakdown on President Trump's approval ratings and just how Americans are seeing, what he's doing and whether they see it more favorable or unfavorable, and exactly what's driving the way people are seeing what President Trump is doing. So let's take a listen and see exactly what they got going on here on Face the Nation. I'll jump in and share a little bit of dialogue, and then that'll be it for this video. But let's get into this clip. Check this out.
So, Anthony, I'm going to be very scientific here. On the economy, what gives?
Well, we know, good morning, Major. We know that people still say the economy is bad. We know that prices and inflation are the top reason they give for why. So in this poll, we find that the president's approval for specifically handling the economy and inflation are both ticked down. Now, let's talk about these tariffs, because look, it's early in the administration. So I think the key gauge is, what do people think he's trying to do? And here we see a mismatch. They think he's putting too much focus on trying to put in tariffs and not enough focus on trying to lower prices. Now
let's think about that for a second. Why is it that Americans think that President Trump is focusing too much on tariffs, but not enough on lowering prices? You notice that American consumers are not connecting the two. And why aren't they connecting the two? Because you got the lamestream media and you got the Democrats out here lying to people saying, oh, tariffs are going to jack up your prices. No, it is not. A tariff is nothing more than an additional tool to be able to negotiate with other countries, especially when you have a trade deficit so imbalanced. And that's what the Democrats don't want people to realize. There's a lot of kickbacks going on, and they know that if President Trump evens out the playing field, a lot of those congressional members and senators on either side are not going to be getting those kickbacks and going to have a lot of people pissed off at them for not keeping that gravy train going. And so what do? They come out here and spread a lot of misinformation when in fact the country was built on tariffs, not taxes. And the way that you attack prices and get prices to go down, you open up energy opportunities in the country, which they are doing. You equalize the trade deficit, which is being done right now. And so for CBS to kind of pose it like, oh, people feel like President Trump is focusing too much on tariffs and not enough on lowering prices, by forcing these countries to pay their fair share, or at least to make it more fair with America, that will lower prices or will open up the door for American companies to be more competitive and get that business. I can't stand when they present things in I don't know why Americans feel this way. It's because all they do is misrepresent and lie, and it's freaking people out about tariffs.
Oh, the mismatch there is the administration argues, well, that'll have positive impact, right? So I asked, what do you think will happen when tariffs go into effect? People think in the short term that it'll raise prices, but also in the long term, there's a lot of people who think tariffs will raise prices. So the administration hasn't quite connected the dots on that argument yet.
Well, it's 2 months in and they're talking about connecting dots. And that's why CBS and some of these other stations, they need to be canceled and thrown off, because there's a lot of people who wake up and they watch this and they put these things out here to kind of instigate momentum and to create a feeling amongst the people. When we know historically, whenever they poll President Trump, his numbers are typically much better than how they're presenting them. And then they put a spin on everything he's doing as negative. So we have to say, for Trump to be at 53%, 48%, 44% approval with the nonstop onslaught, he's doing really good.
Now, what happens next is you get people think with uncertainty in the stock market that his policies are having a negative effect there. I should add this. He does not entirely own this economy yet. Speaking of it being early, right? I asked, who's to blame for inflation, right? And that he shares with Joe Biden still. But one of the things to watch going forward is expectations. Coming into the administration, before he took office, a lot of people thought that Trump's policies would make them financially better off. You ask that question today, and far fewer Americans think that. Even far fewer Republicans think that, and that expectations game is key.
In the data.
If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, because I will never trouble you asking you for a super chat or a cash out. As a matter of fact, you hitting that like button helps a great deal. It helps spread the video around. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, hit that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Now, we have no idea if that's factual. As a matter of fact, everything I'm seeing shows quite the opposite. Republicans get it. You notice he didn't say any, he said, yes, especially Republicans. See, they do these things to manipulate the public, because we see what people are saying. We see the price of eggs and gas going down already. We see what's going on at the border. We saw Canada and Mexico decide that they want to renegotiate things. And so I made this video just to show how disingenuous CBS is when they get on here and they spin everything that's going on as either negative or like, you know, Republicans are just turning against President Trump. Remember when James Carville said that in 30 days that the MAGA party, Republicans and Trump administration was just going to be seen, oh, so negative. And remember now, CBS, remember these the same people that said Kamala Harris was winning the election and was going to win. These the same people that said Hillary was going to win. These are the same people that said Joe Biden was doing perfectly fine. This is the same network that said that the border was secure.
Yeah, there's still some buoyancy for the president. He's not collapsing by any stretch of the imagination. It appears one of the reasons is satisfaction with aggressiveness on immigration.
Absolutely right. This is a story about balance. And the things that are going well in the public mind for him is his handling of immigration, which is still net positive, and his deportation program is still net positive and popular. People say, well, they don't think it'd be okay if there are legal residents who were mistakenly detained in this program, although there are some in his base who do. But you look at other aspects of this, like cuts to the federal workforce. That continues to be split, but you then also see a majority of people saying, well, that might impact programs that they care about. Even over a third of Republicans think that may happen. Again, a key measure to watch. And look, in terms of how this ties back then to that uncertainty in the economy, that could have an impact worth watching.
I want to skip back to something. Let's look, just look at the number of Democrats. Reducing the federal workforce impact programs you care about. 85% of Democrats say, yes, it will impact it. And look about what they cut, the overbloating in the IRS, the overbloating in different departments. Democrats are fighting for the federal workers. Why? Because Democrats believe in big government. They believe in the government should make decisions for everybody, control everything. So the fact that federal departments and monies is getting cut will drive a Democrat socialist insane. Now look at the Republican side, 31%. 69% say no, won't impact at all. Now let's look at the independents. Now they say there's 62% of independents and only 38% feel like it won't. And one thing I'm finding, are there some genuine independents out there? Yes. But one thing I'm realizing is a lot of Democrats are too embarrassed to admit that they lost or that they made a bad pick during the 2024 election, have all of a sudden become independents, but they're still left-wing, extreme, libtard liberals. It's not cool to be called a Democrat right now or a progressive or a liberal. So they're hijacking the name independent, but they vote Democrat. So when you see independent, for the most part, you might as well just think those are the Democrats who are too embarrassed to admit they're Democrats, but will never say that they're Republicans. And at the end of the day, when you're looking at these numbers, keep in mind, this is with 24/7, 365 negative onslaught from the media and from the Democrat Party. So for President Trump to have and this is after Signalgate. So this shows that Signalgate had zero impact on how people view what's going on, like the Democrat Party thought it was, because these polls are fresh from today. And now let's see what the Democrat Party's approval rating is. You notice they don't want to touch that, but they want to talk about Trump. And even though he's over 50%, way over 50% on immigration, when the Democrats say, "Oh, Americans don't like it," they don't like it. America's still supporting it. And then people talk about the economy. Again, these numbers are a little funny because we are seeing prices go down. And yeah, we saw the stock market go crazy the day before the whole Canada-Mexico thing, when the media acted like the world was going to fall apart, when Canada threatened that they was going to impose tariffs on us and stop their energy. It didn't happen. And what happened to the markets? It rebounded, and now it's actually surging, just like Elon's stock, the Tesla stock, surging. So I just wanted to jump in and show good news. The President Trump numbers are still high, but man, these networks, it is so challenging watching these things to make these videos sometimes, because you just know that they're lying. And there's some person that's falling for this crap, and it sucks. So, hey, listen, tell me what you think. Leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching this video. And like always, like it if you haven't liked the video. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for watching. And I'm Brian Maxwell. I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.